Hello and welcome to the Filmhouse Show, the home of movies and cinema in Nigeria. My name is Joke Akinola and I'm coming to you from the Filmhouse Cinema in Surulere Leisure Mall. Key to everything we do is to get you guys at home involved in the cinema experience. It's going to be an amazing show filled with all things cinema. I'm talking about the movies, the fans, and of course, you can't forget the popcorn. If you're on social media, please follow us on our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's the Filmhouse Cinemas. On Twitter, it's at Filmhouse Cinema. And on Instagram, it's at Filmhouse Cinemas. Let's see what we've got coming up on today's show.
Be careful.
We take you through some of the latest films showing in cinemas across Nigeria. We have a guest in the house to talk about the latest popular movie, War Room. On Fan Zones, the fans reveal their answers to some interesting questions. It's a super packed show and we have lots more.
Being at the cinema is a holistic experience, whether you're alone or you're in a group. I enjoy going to the cinema alone. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with enjoying a great movie all by yourself. So what I want to know from the fans is, do you ride solo or are you a groupie?
Okay, I like to go to the cinema with a group of people, my friends, because I think it's interesting. We get to talk about the movie while you watch the movie, yab the actors, I don't know, laugh about it. But if you go alone, it's actually boring. So I like to go with my friends, group.
I like to go to the cinema with my friends in a group because we'll have fun, laugh, gist about it, and that's it.
Depending on the movie, but to me, 90% or 96% of the times I've been to the movie, it's just me, myself, and I.
I don't mind, I can go alone, I can go in a group.
I prefer to go to the cinema alone, and because there won't be any distractions, just me and the movie.
My choice of movies might not be the choice of the person that's going to come with me, and I don't really want to be arguing with someone at the moment. So I would just like to come alone.
Whether I prefer going to the cinema alone? No, I like going alone. I don't like the group things.
I love to go to the cinema in group because it's more fun. You have the advantage of talking about the movie afterward with your family or friends. Unlike if you go as a person, you can't return home and be telling them what they didn't see with you, you know?
It really doesn't matter whether you ride solo or whether you're more of a groupie. I mean, if you ride solo, you get to choose your movie faster. And if you're more of a groupie, you get to have that fun little fight with your friends when you decide what to watch. Either way, it's about the experience. So coming up next are the movies currently showing to help you decide.
If you end all of this.
The Hunger Games Mockingjay 2 unfolds even further as the War of Panem escalates. Realizing the stakes are no longer just for survival, Katniss Everdeen, played by Jennifer Lawrence, teams up with her closest friends including Peeta, Gale and Finnick for the ultimate mission. If you've watched part 1, you'll want to see this. Directed by 3-time Academy Award-winning director Steven Spielberg, Bridge of Spies stars Academy Award winner Tom Hanks as James Donovan, a Brooklyn lawyer who finds himself thrust into the center of the Cold War when the CIA sends him on a near-impossible mission task to negotiate the release of a captured American U-2 pilot. Inspired by true events that captures the essence of a man who risked everything and vividly brings his personal journey to life. This animated comedy is the second installment in the Hotel Transylvania franchise. Part 2 takes place 7 years after the first film and focuses on Drac, who is secretly worried that his half-human grandson, Dennis, isn't showing his vampire side. Featuring voices by Adam Sandler, Selena Gomez and Andy Samberg.
Okay, Murray, show them how to be scary.
If international films don't do it for you, here are some alternative options coming right up.
I'm done talking. We're done.
Nollywood starlet Genevieve is back with a bang as she stars in her self-produced movie, Road to Yesterday. An epic love story about a couple who try to fix their marriage on a road trip. However, when memories and secrets from the past are revealed, a lot more is at stake than their relationship. Out of Luck is a drama thriller that follows the adventure of a young lottery operator whose life turns upside down when a local gangster insists that he pays out on a lottery he did not win. His attempts to pay the gangster by taking him on a thrill ride from the slums of Lagos Island to the mansions of Ikoyi and back again.
Another great alternative movie that's currently showing in the cinemas is War Room. This powerful movie has got everyone interested. It was produced by brothers Alex and Stephen Kendrick, who brought us inspirational movies such as Courageous, Facing Giants, and Fireproof. So here is an interview with the makers and cast of the movie to find out what the message of the film was all about.
And action, crowd. Our first film was Flywheel, which was basically about lordship. Then we produced Facing the Giants, which was primarily about faith. Fireproof was primarily about unconditional love. Courageous is obviously about courageous parenting, specifically fatherhood. This film is about the power of prayer and the necessity of prayer in our lives.
It's what opens up the floodgates for God to come down and be involved in our everyday circumstances.
Most of us have something of a financial strategy, an education strategy for our children, maybe even a health strategy.
To win any battle, you've got to have the right strategy and the right resources.
But oftentimes, when it comes to prayer, it's a wish to the wind.
A lot of people don't pray because they don't believe it works. But unfortunately, it doesn't work because we don't really pray.
God calls us to a much deeper level of faith.
He has us fight, not human flesh and blood, but fight the war that is in the heavenlies. That can only happen from our knees.
In Matthew 6, Jesus said, when you pray, go into your inner room, in your secret place.
We seek God first before going to war, if you will.
That verse and that passage is one of the keys to this movie. It's really easy to make prayer an afterthought. We want people to begin to fight their battles in prayer first.
So if I asked you what your prayer life was like, would you say that it was hot or cold?
I don't know that I would say it's hot. I mean, we're like most people. We have full schedules. We work. But I would consider myself a spiritual person.
You need to plead with God to do what only He can do. And then you need to get out of the way and let Him do it.
I don't even know where to start.
If you look at the history of the church, the history of revival and the Great Awakenings, it always was connected to people unifying and praying for the Lord to work in that situation. And that's what we want to happen in our generation.
If we return to prayer, passionately, actively, seeking the Lord, and we're right with Him and right with each other, God can do amazing things in our lives.
We will see an explosion of the presence of God as a result of the prayers of His people.
We're asking God to use these productions as a unifying agent in the body of Christ. When the church becomes one, as Jesus prayed that we would be, not only will His blessing fall, but I believe it's a catalyst of a revival in our generation.
You need to do your fighting in prayer. And you need to kick the real enemy out of your home with the Word of God. It's time for you to fight, Elizabeth. It's time for you to fight for your marriage. It's time for you to fight the real enemy. It's time for you to take off the gloves and do it.
Very inspiring, right? It's time for a quick break, but don't go anywhere because we've got a guest joining us for some more film talk. Welcome back to the Filmhouse Show. We're still coming to you from our Filmhouse Cinema in the Surulere Leisure Mall. Filmhouse is the largest cinema chain in Nigeria, with 9 operating cinemas across the country and more in the works. Make sure you keep up to date with us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's the Filmhouse Cinemas. On Instagram, it's at Filmhouse Cinemas. And on Twitter, it's at Filmhouse Cinema. Now, in case you're just joining us and you're wondering what you've missed, worry not, because we've got a rundown of all our movies of the month coming up. Welcome back, guys. I'm here joined by Pastor Adegoke Koka, author of God Fashions. Thank you, sir. Now, last year was deemed the year of the Bible in the cinema world, owing to the success of religious movies such as Son of God, God's Not Dead, and Heaven is Real. It would appear that this trend is continuing with the release of the Christian drama The War Room, which is a film about a crumbling marriage that is saved by the power of prayer. This movie has been well received worldwide. It debuted in 2nd place in the United States box office just after Straight Outta Compton. So, Pastor, can you please tell us why you think this movie was so successful?
Well, personally, I think because of its focus on marriage and also the truth about what makes marriage work. Erroneously, we had believed that marriage is the idea of society. And so everybody believed that they have an idea of how marriage is or how a marriage should work. But that is the error in it. It's a very serious error of judgment. Marriage is God's idea. And until and unless you want to know exactly what was in the mind of the Creator, you would always run into trouble when you try to fix it based on your own understanding. Now, the solution that War Room brings to all marriages, both marriages that are working, the ones that are not working, and also for those who are willing to go into marriages who hitherto have seen failures of marriages, is one of the reasons why I believe that War Room is a tremendous success.
Why do you think there's been an increase in faith-based movies in today's society?
I believe the storyline. Some of these movies, as you will know, are based on real-life stories. And there's nothing as wonderful as portraying something that really happened to people who are alive. And you see what they went through, and you see how God came through for them. So basically, it's not something that is strange, even though a lot of us are new to such storylines being brought in and portrayed in movies at this time.
Well, thank you so much, Pastor, for joining us here today. You gave us some very interesting insights into sort of, I guess, religion's part or like its role to play in society in general, as well, you know, through the cinematic medium, as it were. So, guys, I guess you can see that, you know, the cinema isn't just about secular movies. There's also room for religious movies. So we're going to see the trailer of The War Room. It's coming up next.
You've been a good enough father. I don't want to be a good enough father.
Let's go, let's go!
Don't quit! Don't quit!
Hey, you know what? I thought your jump roping routine was really good. I just got a notification that you moved money from our savings into your checking account.
Can we talk about this later?
You must be the real estate agent.
Well, it's so good to meet you.
Let me show you the house.
This is my favorite place in this house. I call it my war room.
You wrote prayers for each area of your life.
Prayer strategy.
I sure could use some of that. Tony, you should go see her practice tomorrow.
I'm out of town this week.
When were you going to tell me?
I just did.
Tony, that was my favorite rep.
I'm real good. How you doing?
I wish I lived at your house. Whenever my parents are together, they just fight.
Dude, I can't get a pass from you. It'd be easier to baptize a cat.
I just needed to blow off a little steam, okay?
There's one thing we do well. It's fight.
You do not want World War III to break out in your home.
No, I don't.
Just because you argue a lot doesn't mean that you fight well. You got to plead with God so that he can do what only he can do. Then you got to get out of the way and let him do it. You need to do your fighting in prayer.
Keep fighting the good fight. Keep letting your light shine. 'Cause
I've never seen anybody do what you did.
It's time for you to take off the gloves and fight for your marriage.
Keep fighting the good.
Lord, we need an army of believers. Lord, call us to battle. Raise them up, Lord, raise them up.
Fighting the good, fighting the good, fighting the good fight.
From inspirational to an unusual visionary, Mary Shelley, a prominent English author, made her debut with the world-renowned novel Frankenstein. This tale has seen several adaptations ranging from horror to romance and even comedy. This classic tale has spanned several decades and is back with a contemporary adaptation. Victor Frankenstein stars Daniel Radcliffe as Igor and James McAvoy as Victor Frankenstein. Enjoy.
Igor, you and I shall be at the very heart of a scientific enterprise that will change the world. We shall create a life out of death. It's alive. Do you realize how significant this is? Oh, I have an inkling.
I'm Detective Inspector Turpin. I'm here to investigate missing body parts.
I'm not sure what you mean, sir.
Are you not afraid to challenge the natural order, Mr. Frankenstein?
No. And it's Frankenstein. We shall create a man after our own image. Questions? Well, you're welcome. I think it is time you met our monster. Victor, no! Full charge! It's alive. Well, that's rather obvious. You have the chance to be part of something.
Of what? Being electrocuted?
Chased by monsters. And hunted by the police. Well, if you're going to concentrate on the dark side...
Be careful, Mr. Frankenstein. You toy with wrathful forces.
I cannot argue with that.
Victor Frankenstein is still showing at the cinemas, so make sure you catch it before it goes. Don't say I didn't warn you. Now let's head over to the office gist to see what exclusive information we have for you straight from our headquarters.
Hello, the big news this week is all about the Filmhouse website, the brand new Filmhouse website, interactive website. Over the years, we've heard so much from our guests about our website, how they want it to be a bit more interactive. So we listened and we created this amazing, new, fantastic, very interactive, user-friendly Filmhouse Cinemas website. So if you just come with me as we go into our digital technology and IT department, so we can speak to the website gurus, and they'll tell you a little bit about the Filmhouse website. Okay, so if you just come with me this way, right in this room, this is the IT engine of Filmhouse Cinemas. And with me here is Chibuike. Yeah, Chibuike, how are you?
I'm fine, sir.
Okay, so we're talking about this brand new thing, brand new Filmhouse website that you've created. So talk to us about it. Huh?
Okay, basically the Filmhouse website has been created to beat what people have been complaining about the previous website. For example, this new website is HTML5, CS3. Secondly, it's interactive.
Yeah.
Some pages are animated, which will make you stay.
Yeah.
Another thing is it's user-friendly and it's interactive. And then now we have the booking page. It's a single
fantastic.
page for you to book for all sites. Then the last one is that you have HD pictures. The pictures are treated in Photoshop, then we now import them to use them here.
Yeah.
And then the programming, we use JavaScript and then a little more of CSS to scale the pictures so that whatever platform you're using, you want to view the website, whether on your mobile or on your tablet or on your PC, the picture quality will still be HD. other than using height and length to scale the picture.
Fantastic. Just watching him animated like that, I really want to get on this website, but the great thing about this website, and here's what it looks like. The great thing about this website is almost like a magazine, where you can interact with it. And if you just go into, if we just go into who we are and about us, you can interact with this. It's a magazine in effect, yes. Something fun, for our guests. So we put quite amazing features in this. There's gallery, there's amazing information and pictures of our cinemas, and if you scroll down a bit more, and there's videos we upload there, and scroll down a bit more on this website. It has information about it has information about Filmhouse and its people. And then if you go into the WhatsApp page, there's so many things happening there. It tells you about, top 4 things you can do in the cinema. There's a meet and greet as well, where, you have information and pictures, amazing pictures of film premieres and film events where celebrities come to Filmhouse Cinemas. We try to put it there, and you can interact with this website as much as possible. So for the big news this week is Filmhouse Cinemas website. So log on to www.filmhouseng.com, and that's all you need. So next week, we'll see you again next week, where we'll bring you yet another fantastic industry and cinema news coming from Filmhouse Cinemas. Okay, stay well, bye.
And there you have it from Mr. Kene Igbatoro. We're always upgrading to keep you, the customers, happy. So be sure to visit www.filmhouseng.com for all your updates. So for some more movie updates, here's movie gossip.
She wasn't playing.
Barbershop is back. Ice Cube presents the first trailer for his upcoming movie Barbershop, The Next Cut. Following more than a decade of waiting, the third installment of the much-loved Barbershop series is due to hit cinemas April next year, starring Ice Cube, Nicki Minaj, Common, Eve, Tyga, and much, much more. NASPA launches Netflix competitor. Africa's largest media company, NASPA, has plans to expand its new video streaming service to North America, Europe, and Asia. The service, called Showmax, is a Netflix competitor that will offer not only content from the likes of CBS, the BBC, and Time Warner, but also content produced on the African continent. Nollywood stars decked out for the premiere of Out of Luck at the Filmhouse Cinemas in Apapa. In attendance were some cast members of the movie and supporters. The star-studded movie features some of Nollywood's finest actors play characters you have never seen them in before.
Thanks for joining us once again on today's show. Make sure you tune in every week for all your movie updates. And be sure to keep up with us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, it's the Filmhouse Cinemas. On Twitter, it's @Filmhouse Cinema. And on Instagram, it's @Filmhouse Cinemas. If it's cinema, then Filmhouse is the place to be. See you next week.
Thank you.